met my husband at 16 and I had 2 children. During this time, my life was tipped upside down. My ex-partner was a woman beater. We may say them words lightly, and at a time I myself can become dehumanised to my own story, just like many of us in our professional jobs. I was going to do this live, but after numerous evenings awake, writing and scribbling, I found the actual events far too overwhelming. And I'm one of the fortunate ones to stand in front of you today to actually talk about this, rather than in a mortuary, never to have my story told, to die in pain, and even worse, with no voice. My husband was very controlling. He chose my clothing, he chose what I ate. I had to stop college. He wouldn't allow my family to come to the home, and even one occasion, he broke my nose because he was so angry they came round. He would often bite me all over my body, places that people couldn't see. That's how it all came out to start with. You see, my friend had come round and she believed to what she thought was a hickey. Within 5 minutes, she realised my whole body was covered in them. I was so scared and fearful and felt so ashamed at the time. I wanted no one to know. I begged her from that day to tell no one. He smashed my head to the ground. He tried to gouge my eyes out. It got that bad once that he actually weed on me, urinated all over me and called me the most terrible names. One occasion he stabbed me in the leg. He threw me on the floor and bee-gunned me all over with plastic pellets. He would often choke me out. I was not only the one to experience this, as my children saw the emotional distress this caused. At the present time, I did have a domestic violence liaison officer. I still didn't leave my ex-partner. He tried to kill me with an axe. I was very lucky that my friend, who although couldn't stop the attack and was stood there in fear, managed to give me a phone. I actually ran to the bathroom after the axe had become lodged in the wall and I'd fallen back into a toy box. He eventually ran down the stairs to get more tools. By this point, I went behind the door and called the police. But not before he had managed to come back up the stairs, smash the door down, drag me out, and repeatedly smash my head with his foot. My children were present at this time as well, both under the age of 2. I still didn't leave. In the end, my friend said, "One day, Charlotte, I'm going to find you on that floor dead, and your children are going to be around you with no mother." From that moment, something just clicked. I went home, I grabbed a couple of baby grows, and my ex-husband was in the front room. I was stood there, fearing whilst he was trying to talk to me, trying to just grab a few nappies. I told my husband I needed to get something, and I put my children in the pram. As soon as I left, I went straight to my friends to get £100 and went on a train. I didn't know where I was going. I ended up at Lee. I've never been there before in my life. Funny, I ended up in a tourist information where I broke down to a woman, which, by the way, I'm internally grateful for. She rang the council there and they had me in a woman's refuge. Unfortunately, you would think that this was a beginning to a new start, but to be fair, after not getting the right help, after not being processing what happened, my life continued to spiral, and even at good times, there was a lot of bad, until eventually it all came to a head in 2020. Just take a few moments to reflect, because there's lots of women and men out there right now that are probably dealing with this. They fear having their children taken off them if they're to talk about this. It's uncomfortable and it's wrong. I didn't really want to do it, but here we are. These boxes in front of me are what I was carrying around with me in my life. And I'm sure everyone in this room have experienced some form of this, maybe not to this extent, but at this time you may have come across it with a professional or even personally, your daughters, your children.
Well, it's daunting, projects. Terrifying at times, just like all your jobs can be. You probably sit there and think, what can we do as a team? But what can I do? Well, I don't have the answers. But I will tell you a story about one woman, that woman being me, and Faith, and the numerous individuals that came along on my beautiful journey to work together to help others did. In 2020, you can clearly see, and you would have seen, I ended up having a nervous breakdown, a spiritual awakening, and recovering from addiction. I became aware. At this time, I lost my children and they had to go to their fathers. I was under 24-hour home care, 3 calls a day and regular updates with a social worker personally for me and a psychologist. I want to say a massive thank you to Jamie Colton. Most people probably don't know him, but if he wasn't here today, I would not have been here for his kindness. Up to 6 months later, I was released from the care of Victoria House. If anyone don't know what Victoria House is, it's a place that helps people with mental illnesses. At this time, I was living off £56 a week, no boiler, and was trying to find myself. I got a sign and I saw the world and was sad by all that was happening, regardless there was a division, right or wrong. 2020 was to change all our lives. I felt an intuitive tug to help the world, what I thought was just the beginning of not just helping a lot of people, but finding the woman under my mask that had been created by trauma, addiction and mental health. I went around with a sign everywhere to bring people home. I decided to use the charity shops as I saw homeless people going without anything. I decided to help with what they didn't realise as they were helping me to relearn how to live. During this time I did hot meals, food collections and community. Would often donate all sorts to help whatever needed. There was a fellow man. True teamwork, we were all from Reading. Had no idea what we were doing. The Lions Association came to me and asked if they could help seeing me feed the homeless on the streets. We set up a food collection for perishable items on Thursdays outside Santander. That is still going 4 years later. I started wanting to help my community see in the division. I started litter picking with the help of the church, providing coffees and teas for the families that helped. I was approached very shortly by Lancashire City Council, Rachel Harland, absolutely beautiful soul by the way, and does everything for anybody, who asked if I wanted help to form a committee pretty soon as head chair with my own team. I set up a coffee morning for people with families of Branksome, free coffee. This is still going 4 years later. With a team of people, we set up events, Easter, summer, Christmas, bringing the community together in unity. These are still going on 4 years later. You see, I had to do a whole load of work on myself, with a whole load of praying and reflection. I had done a lot of healing and I never lost touch with my children. I had to completely be accountable and I had to show that I changed. I didn't know how to use a computer properly, so it took a 2-week course. Within 4 months, I was volunteering at Citizens Advice. Within another few months, I was working 16 hours in admin. Very soon after, they asked me to apply to run a project for The Guardian. The Guardian project was to help 5 of the most deprived wards in Lancaster and Morecambe. I've helped 243 families within a year. When I was in a financial position, I opened an account with Wolfwoods for tents, sleeping bags and clothing for those on the street needing provisions. That is still going on and we get referrals from the Well, Let's Be Friends and Citizens Advice. They asked me to join another project, but not before winning the Make a Difference Award 2024 for the Great Neighbour with the Radio 1. The school project was helping in and out of schools, still going by the way, absolutely amazing. Advising parents in schools, the most vulnerable. And I have helped 190 more families up to now. I have been clean 5 years. I have my daughter now lives with me. I am rebuilding my home and jointly running the school project. And I'm going to be a grandmother in August. So you ask yourself, what can you do? The word's anything as long as you believe. And you are always willing to put in the work. You carry a big heart and you want change. Never a failure, always a lesson. You take the wisdom from one project and you try again, bringing what did work back to the table with openness and analysing why the rest didn't work. You never give up, even on the days you want, knowing that every job that you have makes a difference to someone, whether that's just one person. What I learned is that every act of kindness and change renews faith in people. People need real and truthfulness, most of all to be seen, truly seen and accepted. Only then can we understand that these projects will work, not on a professional basis, but also in the community, but more importantly, on a human-to-human basis. see, I didn't realise, but I needed a breakdown to have a breakthrough. And that is what this system needs. The healing and recovery is filthy, and honestly, not everyone likes it. But that's changed what's needed. So I come here today as Charlotte Hartley, school advisor, mum of 5, ex-addict, with a renewed heart, mind and spirit. And I pray on all of you, that you can look within and find that reflection time to change and be prepared to help our community. Thank you for listening.